Ano ai ke aloha. Mahalo ke ho'i hou ana mai. Ka hui ana o kākou no ke Haʻawina ʻŌlelo Hawaiʻi. O ke papahana. Aloha nui kākou. E ho'omaka kākou I ka kākou hana. Ya, o nā pahu hopu o ke halawai. O ia ka ho'akaka ana I ke kino o a me ke kino a. Yeah, we want to clarify again further our kino o and kino a situation. We're going to learn a'o, ina, ʻami, me, o, and a. So I'll learn 3 new ʻami tonight. Me, o, and a. We're going to ho'oma'ama'a I ka Pepeke Henua. We will practice our Pepeke Henua locational sentence that we introduced in our last Haʻawina. A'o kaha, e a'o ina hua ʻŌlelo o ka lumi kuke. Yeah, so we're going to utilize vocabulary from the lumi kuke in this Haʻawina. Yeah, vocabulary from the kitchen. Okay, no leila ea na Haʻawina, ea na pauhopu ʻeha. These are our 4 goals for this Haʻawina. Ho'omaka kākou. Okay, so let's jump right into kino o and kino a. We've gone over some of this already. We haven't gone over all of this. So some of this hopefully will be familiar as a review. And then there may be a couple of things that are new that we have not gone over yet. And so, from the kai evalu, right, we can distinguish kino o, kino a usage based on answering the following questions. Yeah, the first one is, does the possessor own the thing for the purpose of wearing it, or primarily to be situated in, on, under, behind of, or in front of it? Okay, and this should be familiar. We talked about this with our clothing, with our lole a couple of Haʻawina ago. And so if we answer, and so examples of this would be things like clothing, ornaments, shelter, buildings, time, land, modes of transportation, etc., etc. Right? And if we answer this question with a I, with a yes, then it's a kino o. Yeah. These types of things, clothing, ornaments, shelters, buildings, time, land, modes of transportation, take on a kino o. Okay? So oia kamua, that's the first question. Okay, and if we answer the question there, and we answer it with I, then okay, we got our answer, kino o. And if not, then we move on to the second question. Yeah? Is the possessor connected to the item such that the connection is determined by forces outside the possessor? Okay, and this should be familiar as well because we took this concept for our ohana Haʻawina, right? We're talking about generations above, below, and same as us. And so things like body parts, ancestors, parents, siblings, symbols of a person like a name, a flag, social security number, emotions as well. We are connected to these things by forces outside of ourselves, right? Or whoever that possessor may be. And so, again, if the answer to this question in regards to the possessor being connected to the item in a way that the connection is determined by forces outside of the possessor, if the answer is I, yes, then these things, body parts, ancestors, parents, siblings, symbols of a person like a name, flag, social security number, emotions, etc., etc., these things take on kino o, right? We saw that with namahele o ke kino, the body parts. We saw that with our ohana vocabulary, our ancestors, our parents, our siblings, our cousins. Yeah, we saw this with the name, with the inoa. Okay, kino o. And then the third question is if neither ekahi nor elua apply. Yeah, if we answer both ekahi and elua with an a'ole, then generally speaking, we use the kino a form. Yeah, kino a implies that a human or animal owner, initiator, or creator of something or of some action. Right? We would use kino a for things that we initiate, create, whether that be something or some action, right? And so this is where, again, like future generations come in, right? Keiki, mo'opuna, Those are things that we initiate, that we create, right? Your relationship with your significant other, initiated, right? Other examples are food, tools, implements, right? We saw husband, children, a job, objects created by one, like songs or art. Yeah, and then most hamani and hehele words, which we've talked about but have not really looked at yet, also take on kino a. Okay? And again, food, tools, implements, husband, children, job, objects created, like songs, art, or any other kind of objects created, right? These things would not fall under an I for the first question or the second question, right? And so they're here in the third, and they take on a kino a. Okay? So basically, we need to answer the second question and the first question, right? Our hope is that, or not our hope, but if we can answer that with I, then we're good to go. But if this is an ʻaʻole, right? If the first question is an ʻaʻole and the second question is an ʻaʻole, then we fall under the third one, right? And the third one is going to give us kino a. Okay? Again, things like food, tools, implements, husband, children, job, objects created, yeah, and most hamani and hehele words take kino a as well. Okay, one last thing to remember for kino o and kino a, and that is that most possessors that are not human beings or animals possess primarily with kino o, even when human beings would possess the same thing with kino a. Okay, for example, land cannot help that it has plants and stones on it, while a human being can help owning particular plants or stones, right? Okay, so it's important to remember, right, what or who the possessor is, and then what their connection is to the thing that they're so-called possessing, right? And again, if we answer those first two questions with the I, then it's a kino o. If we cannot, then it's a kino a. And then we also need to be mindful, right, that there's a different relationship between the possessor and the thing being possessed for humans and animals compared to things that are not humans and animals, right? Okay? So, that's our kino o, kino a situation, right? Now let's take this and utilize it in our Haʻawina. So, hale, house, right? Would that be kino o or kino a? If you said kino o, polole, right? This is something that we primarily are to be situated in, under, right? A shelter, right? Buildings. We saw that in our, I think it was our first question. So hale, kino o, kino a, kino o, right? Because again, we are normally situated in a hale or under a hale. Okay, pepeao. Pepeao, yeah, our ear. It's a body part, so that would be kino o, right? We saw this in previous Haʻawina. Now a fork, an o. An o would be kino o or kino a? Kino a, right? This is kind of like a tool, right? It's an eating tool. Okay? Our palule, shirt. Kino o, kino a? Kino o, right? We are primarily situated in our lole, right? Komo, ikalole. Kino o. And then, how about uhane? A soul, a spirit. Kino o, kino a? Kino o, yeah? Okay, because again, we are, in a sense, connected to this, right, by forces outside of ourselves. Okay, me kai. Ho'omau kako. Then we got kala. Okay, Kala, money. Kino o or kino a? This would be kino a, right? We initiate actions, yeah, that can get us kala, right? And it wouldn't fall under the first question or the second question as an I, and so it's kino a. Okay, how about a Leo, a horse? Kino o, kino a? Horse could be kino o, right? Because primarily we could be using the horse to ride, right? We could be situated on a horse. So, kino o. Oh, a ka'a, a car, right? Mode of transportation, something that we are situated on, right? Nowadays we kind of think about getting in, but the Hawaiian word for get in the car, or we get on the car, kau ike ka'a, right? Because of what ka'a used to be like before. Ka'a, mode of transportation, kino o. Niho, tooth or teeth, right? We saw this in previous Haʻawina. This is a body part, right? Kino o. And then a kapamoi, a blanket. We would primarily be on or underneath the blanket, and so it would be a kino o. Kino o. Okay. So all of these things mean, right, that we would, if we're trying to make a decision between whether or not kala is ko'u kala or ka'u kala, okay, ka'u kala. Whether or not the ka'a is kona ka'a or kana ka'a, kona ka'a, so on and so forth, right? That's how this kino o, kino a applies to the other things that we've learned already, like ka'i. Okay, one more set of examples. Aina. Aina. Kino o, kino a. Kino o. Right? We are primarily situated on aina. How about eke? A bag. Eke. Kino o, kino a. This would be kino a, right? It would not answer I to the first or second question, so it takes on a kino a form. Sweat. Hou. Hou, from our kino, from our body. Kino o. How about jealousy? Lili. Lili. An emotion. And no matter how much we may try sometimes, we're not always in control of our emotions. So lili would be kino o. And then nani. Beauty. Nani. Kino o ai ole kino a. Right, this is our kino, right? Again, like the nani, like our hou, sweat, our nani, or however nani we are, right, comes from our kino, our ano, kino o. Okay? Mai kai. Okay. So if you folks have any nino and you folks are with your kumu, you guys can go ahead and maybe take a quick pause and ask some questions. And if not, then e holomua kako. E holomua kako ina ʻami. Okay? So we've gone over some ʻami already. And the ʻami that we've gone over are ma, I, and ya. Right? In, on, at, under, by. We know that as it relates to these meanings, in, on, at, under, by, that ma and I are basically interchangeable. They're the same thing, right? And they'd be used with ka'imemea sequences. Ma kahale, ma kalumi kuke, I ke ka'a. Where ya would be used with ioa, ioa kuhane, right? We saw this in our previous Haʻawina. The difference between I kamehameha, right, referring to Kamehameha schools, and Ya Kamehameha referring to the Ali'i Kamehameha. Okay, so we've gone over those. So the three ʻami that we're learning tonight, the new ones are me, o, and a. Okay, and me is simple enough. With. Okay, me, with. Our o and our a both mean of. But we have a Kino o form and we have a Kino a form. Okay, so depending on what this is connected to, right? If it's connected to something that we just saw, like what's an example of what we just saw? A Leo, right? Then that would be, and or let's just go with a a Kino, yeah. That's a Kino o. If we go with Kavika's money, Kavika's kala, then the connection between Kavika and that kala is a Kino a. Okay, so we would distinguish the use of o and a for of the same way we distinguish between ko'u and ka'u, kou and kau, and kona and kana. Okay, same thing. We're just now doing it with these ʻami, o and a. Okay, no leila. E ho ma'ama akako. Okay, so we have ma kalehua vehe. Yeah, kalehua vehe is a surf site in Waikiki. Ma kalehua vehe would be what? It would be at kalehua vehe, right? We he'enalu ma kalehua vehe. Yeah, we surf at kalehua vehe. Okay, and how about I kalehua? Okay, I kalehua could be on the lehua. Yeah, the bird is I kalehua. Yeah, it's on the lehua. And then now we have the bird is Ya kalehua. The bird is Ya kalehua, which would mean that the bird is perhaps on kalehua. Maybe the bird is on her shoulder. Yeah, maybe the bird is in her hands. Right? Aya, the manu is Ya kalehua. And now that bird is me kalehua. Yeah, is me kalehua. And so that would be with kalehua. And now we have something like the bird of kalehua. Or maybe not the bird. Let's go with for this one, let's go with the petals of kalehua. Yeah, the petals of kalehua. Yeah, of the lehua. Yeah, the petals of the lehua. Or the lehua's petals. Same thing, right? We can choose to treat this o kalehua literally, like word for word, of the lehua, or what it essentially means, right? The lehua's petals. And then a kalehua, let's say, right, the keiki a kalehua. The keiki a kalehua would be the child of kalehua, right? Kalehua's child, right? And the connection between kalehua and her keiki is Kino a, not Kino o, so it used the ʻami a and not the ʻami o, right? But the petals of the lehua flower are in the lehua, and its connection to the petals, right, is a Kino o connection. It's part of its body. Okay? So we have our ma, our I, and our ya that we talked about in previous Haʻawina. And now we've added in our me, our o, and our a. So, e hoʻomaʻama kākou. Okay, no leila. Let's take the fork, ke o, the spoon, ke puna. And that leaves us with figuring out width, right? And our width would be me. So we have ke o me ke puna. Yeah, ke o me ke puna, the fork with the spoon. And we have our ke bolded here for puna because this is an exception to the guideline, right? The keao guideline, that words that start with ke, e, a, or o take on the ka'i ke, and the other words take on the ka'i ka. But again, right, that's our guideline. This is an exception to that guideline. We'll see a few other exceptions here. So we see the bold, that's all we're pointing out. Yeah, ke o me ke puna, the fork with the spoon. Okay, now we have the plate on the table. Okay, so the plate, ke pa. The table, ke pa kau kau. We're left with on. Ke pa ma ke pa kau kau. Or ke pa I ke pa kau kau. Yeah, that ma and that I are interchangeable. Okay, next one. The microwave of kawehi. Yeah, kawehi's microwave. The microwave of kawehi. So we gotta figure out the microwave. Okay, ka omavave. Ka omavave of kawehi. Now the connection between kawehi and this omavave, kino or kino a. Kino a. Ka omavave a kawehi. Yeah, ka omavave a kawehi. Okay, next one, the ice in the freezer. Yeah, the ice, kahau. The freezer, kapahu pa'ahau. Figuring out in, right? Kahau, makapahu pa'ahau. Kahau, makapahu pa'ahau. Yeah, the ice in the freezer. Okay, now we have the bowl of kavika. The bowl of kavika. Kavika's bowl. Yeah, the bowl, ke pola. Of, well, it's just a question of whether or not it's a or o. So we would have ke pola a kavika. Okay, my kai. And now the last one on this page, yeah, the cup in Kilo's hands, right? But just to keep it simple, the cup in Kilo. But what do we mean by that? Okay, the cup is not in his body; it's in his hands. The cup in Kilo's hands, right? And so, Kilo being, if it's not clear, Kilo's a human, right? He has a cup in his hands, and so Kilo is an ʻoa kuhane, right? So ke ki ʻaha, yeah, the cup, ke ki ʻaha ya Kilo, yeah, ke ki ʻaha ya Kilo, in, on, under, at, by Kilo, yeah, ya, for ʻoa kuhane. Okay, mekai. So now we take this and we add it into our Pepeke Henua sentence. Aia o kavika maka lumi kuke. Yeah, e ho'opili mai. Aia o kavika maka lumi kuke. So what would this be in English? Yeah. Where is kavika? Where is kavika located? Maka lumi kuke. Yeah, kavika is in the kitchen. Where kavika stay? Aia o kavika maka lumi kuke. Okay, me kai. E ho'opili mai. Aia ke puna me ke pā. Aia ke puna me ke pā. Okay, so the thing that we are locating is ke puna, and its location is me ke pā. Aia ke puna me ke pā. So where do puna stay? The spoon is with the plate. Yeah, it's with the plate. Find the plate, and you find the spoon. Ai ke puna me ke pā. Okay, e ho'opili mai. Aia kana papa oki oki ma ke pā kou. Aia kana papa oki oki ma ke pā kou. Okay, so we are locating kana papa oki oki. Yeah, his or her cutting board. And its location is ma ke pā kou. So aia kana papa oki oki ma ke pā kou. His or her cutting board is on the table. Yeah, ma ke pā kou. Aia kana papa oki oki ma ke pā kou. His cutting board is on the table. Okay, ho'opili mai. Aia ka mikini kope a aloha ma ke kapuahi. Aia ka mikini kope a aloha ma ke kapuahi. Okay, so the first thing we're locating, right? Ka mikini kope a aloha. Ka mikini kope a aloha. The coffee machine of aloha. Aloha's coffee machine. And its location is ma ke kapuahi. Ma ke kapuahi. Stove, yeah? Aloha's coffee machine is on the stove. Aia ka mikini kope a aloha ma ke kapuahi. E ho'opili mai. Aia ka ipuhao ya ka lehua. Aia ka ipuhao ya ka lehua. Okay, so we're locating ka ipuhao. Yeah? The pot. We're locating the pot, ka ipuhao. And its location is ya ka lehua. Okay? Ka lehua, right? Person, or i'oa kuhane. We're treating it that as such, right? Capital. Aia ka ipuhao ya ka lehua. The pot is in ka lehua's, or is in ka lehua's hands, right? You could say it's on ka lehua, but ka lehua is probably not wearing the pot as a helmet. I don't know why it would be sitting on his shoulder, but it could definitely be in his hands, right? So just without even saying ka lehua's hands, aia ka ipuhao ya ka lehua, that we know that the ipuhao is located in, on, at, under, by ka lehua. Yeah. So it being in ka lehua's hands would make sense. Okay, ho'opili mai. Aia ke kinika ma kona lumikuke. Aia ke kinika ma kona lumikuke. Ke kinika, the sink is what we're locating, and its location is ma kona lumikuke. Okay, lumikuke, kitchen. The sink is in her kitchen. Right? And lumikuke being a room, a place that we be primarily situated in, under, right? At, kino o. Yeah, kona lumikuke. Aia ke kinika ma kona lumikuke. The sink is in her kitchen. Okay, so now, e ho'omau kako. But let's take English and create Hawaiian with it. Okay, so the ice is in the freezer of Mahealani. The ice is in the freezer of Mahealani. So we are locating the ice, right? That's what needs to be located. And its location is in the freezer of Mahealani. Right? So our sentence is going to start with aia, right? That's our sentence marker. Aia, followed by the thing that we are locating. The ice, yeah, kahau. Aia kahau in the freezer of Mahealani. Maka pahu pa'ahau o Mahealani or a Mahealani. Aia kahau maka pahu pa'ahau a Mahealani. Right? This isn't a thing that Mahealani gets in, on, under, right? she's not connected to this freezer by forces outside of her. So, Kino a. Yeah, aia ka hau, ma ka pahu paʻahau, a mahealani. Yeah, aia ka hau, ma ka pahu paʻahau, a mahealani. The ice is in Mahealani's freezer. The ice is in the freezer of Mahealani. Okay, her plate is with that knife. Her plate is with that knife. Yeah, so we would start again with Aya. Aya. Aya her plate with that knife. Yeah. Aya konapa or kanapa. So we got to figure out with, right, what ʻami is that? And then that knife close to you, the person or thing that I'm talking to. Yeah? So, aia kana pa me kena pahi. Yeah? Where her plate stay? Ai kana pa me kena pahi. Yeah, the plate that's the pahi that is right next to you, right? That's where her plate stay. Take a good look. Yeah, ai kana pa me kena pahi. Okay, the sponge is on the rack, right? So locating the sponge, and we are locating it on the rack. Okay, so aya the sponge on the rack. Aya ka upi makahaka. Aya ka upi makahaka. Mai kai. One more set. My pot is on that stove. Okay, my pot is on that stove. So we are locating my pot, and its location is on that stove. Aya, my pot, on that stove, right? Aya ka'u ipuhau. Yeah, not ko'u ipuhau. Aya ka'u ipuhau. Ma or I ke la kapuahi. Aya ka'u ipuhau ma ke la kapuahi. E ho'opili mai. Aya ka'u ipuhau ma ke la kapuahi. Yeah, me ka'i kako. Okay, ho'omau. The fork is in this sink. We are locating the fork, and its location is in this sink. Aya ke o I or ma keia kinika. Aya ke o ma keia kinika. Ho'opili mai. Aya ke o ma keia kinika. The fork is in this sink. Okay, ea ka mea hope. Kilohana is with kavehi. Kilohana is with kavehi. So we are going to locate Kilohana, and his location is with kavehi. So aya o Kilohana, right? We need that okina o in front of Kilohana. Aya o Kilohana me kavehi. Aya o Kilohana me kavehi. And remember, we learned that ʻami never appear. You're not going to have two ʻami, right? Consecutively. It's one. So because we have this with here, this me, as in ʻami, we don't need this okina o in front of kavehi. It's replaced by this me, saying that Kilohana is with kavehi. Yeah? Aya o Kilohana me kavehi. E ho'opili mai. Aya o Kilohana me kavehi. Mai ka iloa. Okay. So, oihola ka Haʻawina. That's all we have for this Haʻawina. Again, just in these past 4 slides that we've gone through, we can see that are again that our sentence structure is pretty simple, right? Aya followed by the thing that needs to be located or that's being located, followed by an ʻami and its location. Yeah, aya ka'u i puhao ma ke la kapuahi, aya ke o ma keia kinika, aya o kilohana me ka wehi. Yeah, aya ka'u i puhao, thing being located, ke o, thing being located, o kilohana, person being located, and then its location, ma ke la kapuahi, ma keia kinika, me ka wehi, and all the other examples that we've seen as well. Okay? No leila, e ho'oma'ama'a o kou, yeah, ho'oma'o o kou, ho'ikaika, so that when we come back to our next Haʻawina, we have this more pa'a than it is now, right? Use this as much as possible, especially for those of us who have keiki and kula, right? Use whatever we can, as much as we can, whenever we can. Use them. Yeah, use them. The more we use it, the better we get at it, and the more pa'a it becomes. The less we use it, the more we gotta go and relearn it. Okay? So, oia I hola ka Haʻawina o keia pule, mahalo nui a o kou, a hui ho aku kākou I ke kai Haʻawina aku. Aloha.